Thank you for having me. Thank you all. Also, Marilyn, sorry for the pivot required, but glad I could make a grand entrance and join you all today. How has your week been so far? Woo! Congrats. It seems like a very power crew, so I feel honored to be here. Thank you for the introduction, Marilyn. As Marilyn said, I'm Kelly from Lean In Girls. I'm actually based in Austin, so it was a real treat for me to just get to Zoom up today and get to spend time with you. As the title of this presentation suggests, I'm going to talk today about how schools are using the Lean In Girls program to help girls build resilience and confidence, and then how that contributes to overall sense of thriving within school cultures at large. So what I'm going to cover with you, I'm going to start with just an overview of who Lean In Girls is, why we exist, and then to make the program real, I thought it'd be best to spend time spotlighting a school that's using the program so you all can see what they did, why they brought the program to life, the impact it's having. And then I'll talk a little bit about what it would look like to bring the program to your district, and then, of course, leave time for Q&A. So Lean In Girls is a free leadership curriculum that helps girls see themselves as leaders in a world that often tells them they're not. As you heard, we are part of Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In Foundation. And this program really was born out of over a decade of research and real-world experience, in which we were seeing time and time again, like no surprise to anybody in this room, that the challenges women are facing don't just start when they enter the workforce, the boardroom, or into these roles that you all are in this room. They start a lot earlier. And in particular, what we see is that the early teen years, so that's those ages of around 11 to 15, are a really, really critical time for girls. So I want to do a quick show of hands. How many of you in here either work with girls in this age range, have worked with girls in this age range, or have a girl in your life that is in this age range? Okay, cool, great. So you all know then from firsthand experience how important this time of life is for identity formation, right? So during these years, we really hope girls are exploring who they are, figuring out who they're going to become, finding their voice, building confidence, and creating really meaningful connections that create a sense of belonging. Unfortunately, what we see during this period of life right now is often the opposite. So girls are facing extreme external pressures to please and perform and fit in, things we all experience as women. And those are taking a really big toll not only on their mental health, but also their overall sense of well-being. And the data here is pretty startling, but I think, again, for those who are working with girls in this age range, not going to be shocking, right? So what we see is that girls' confidence drops by 30% during these years. The kicker being boys' confidence stays the same. We see perfectionism and fear of failure on the rise, right? So girls are more than twice as likely as boys to exhibit high perfectionism. There's a lot of reasons that girls feel that, right? And we know that perfectionism, fear of failure can really hold girls back in the long term. We also see girls struggling to find their voice, with 66% believing that speaking their mind will make them unlikable. Just think about that for a second. 66% of girls think speaking their mind will make them unlikable. And that's up from 46% in just 2017. So that number has shifted a lot. And then lastly, we see bullying and mean girl behavior peak in middle school, with 26% of girls experiencing it in some shape or form. And so I share all of this to give pause and to acknowledge the challenges girls are facing, but also to say it doesn't have to be this way. There are alternative paths. There are different ways we can move forward and ways to support our girls, and that is exactly why we created Lean In Girls. So Lean In Girls is a leadership program specifically designed to help support girls during these challenging years. And we know that girls, from the research we see, girls who see themselves as leaders, they're happier, they're healthier, they're more engaged in their communities and in their schools. And that's why it's so important that we equip girls with leadership skills. I think a lot of times when we think of leadership skills, we're like, oh, that's professional development, or that's a nice to have. No, these skills are foundational to supporting girls both today and well into the future. And so our program does this in a couple of specific ways. First, we focus on confidence and resilience, right? So really helping girls identify their values, embrace their strengths so that they can lead from a place of authenticity. We help girls counter perfectionism and fear of failure by inspiring girls to take healthy risks, embrace imperfections, and see mistakes as opportunities for growth. Another audience survey. Who in this room has made a mistake in the last 1 week? Okay, great, right? Like, or has experienced failure. We all are, right? And there's not enough discussion about that and us role modeling for girls the positive growth that can come out of mistakes and failure. This is a huge one, right? We want to foster voice and agency. And we don't just do that by telling girls, hey, you should speak up. We have to actually equip girls with the skills they need to challenge stereotypes, push back against bias and other limiting narratives and beliefs they're going to confront on their journey, right? Because it's not just inside of them. The culture is part of what's telling them to stay small and stay quiet. And so we have to help them identify those narratives and push back on them. And then lastly, it's all about cultivating allyship, really teaching girls to stand up against bullying. If you see something, say something, speak out on behalf of a peer, and create a culture of belonging where everyone has a place. And the awesome news is from this program, and part of why I'm here, is that it is working, okay? So to date, over 20,000 girls have gone through this program. And what we've seen from our efficacy data and the studies that we've run is a 2x increase in girls who said they would be very likely to lead a group project, try a new activity, or speak up on behalf of something they care about or a peer. We saw 91% of girls said they learned something new about how to lead. I think it's easy to think like, oh, we all know what leadership is. There's so much we can learn. I still feel I'm learning new things about leadership every day through role models I meet and just the own mistakes I make. And then lastly, this one, because you all work with middle schoolers or know middle schoolers, you know this is a big deal. 94% of girls said they would recommend us. That is almost impossible in middle school girl speak. So we basically are viral, which we love. And then I think just like as important to our team and to those of us doing the work as the efficacy data itself is just the positive feedback we're getting from our partners about the impact the program is having. And this one comes from a principal out of New York. She was with a KIPP school, and she said, we talk a lot with our students about the power of their voice, and with our girls in particular, about the resilience they will need as outside forces try to silence them. This was a real-life opportunity to sharpen their skills. And we get tons of these stories. It's like my favorite part of the job, but wanted to share one. And then, yeah, just to put it into context, so as I said, we've reached, this number's now old. We've now reached over 20,000 girls, 180 plus organizations that we're partnering with across 20 countries, which is really exciting. So I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to talk just a little bit more in specific about the curriculum and the program itself, and then we'll jump into that case study I told you about. So at a glance, this is a leadership curriculum. The curriculum itself is designed for girls and non-binary teens who identify with a girlhood experience ages 11 to 15. That's not hard and fast. That's just the age range in which we did the efficacy study. So we have folks running it with younger girls and older girls. We provide you with 15 interactive 1-hour sessions that are plug and play, ready to go. Every session is really hands-on and engaging and designed to center girls' voices and experience. So that's core to all we do. We know girls in this age range, they don't want to be talked at. they know everything, and we want to hear from them. So it's all designed to center their voice and experience. And then it's very easy to implement. I think for those of you in this room, this is really matters. The folks that are bringing this program to life, they have very little time, and they're often taking on many things above and beyond their core duties. And so it's important for us to design a resource that is very plug and play and educator friendly. That includes us providing free facilitator training and hands-on support as needed to get the program up and running. And it's all free, which is incredible, and thanks to our affiliation with the foundation. I'll give you a quick look at the curriculum itself. So you'll see the curriculum includes a kickoff session and a bonus session, which is where we celebrate, and then there's 4 modules in between. And so it takes girls on a journey. So it starts with really building this more expansive definition of leadership, one where girls can see themselves as leaders, right? And then we move into helping girls understand their unique leadership strengths. So we talk about what are your values, what are your strengths, how are you going to put those into action on your leadership journey? Then we move into some of the core skill building, right? So this is where we learn about identifying and challenging stereotypes, reframing failure, embracing risk-taking, and really setting those bold, healthy goals. And then in part 3, this is about the resilience piece, right? So we, as women, as girls, we know there are bias and barriers we will confront on our journey in life. And how do we learn the skills to push back and stay true to our own path and our own possibility? And that's what we do in part 3. And then last part 4 is all on allyship, right? So that's teaching girls to support one another, speak out on behalf of those who may have less of a voice. All right, now the fun part. Let's talk about a school that's actually using the program. So this was a hard choice because there's a lot of cool programs out there, but I wanted to talk about Buxer Middle School. They are part of the Santa Clara Unified School District in Santa Clara, California. Who here is from California? Oh, yay, awesome. Do any of you know Buxer? You do? Okay, are you part of Santa Clara Unified School District? No, but you've heard of them. Okay, awesome, I love that. Small world. So quick snapshot of the school. They are grades 6 through 8. They've got just shy of 700 students, and then they're a very economically and racially diverse student body with 36% free and reduced price lunch recipients. So when they were thinking about bringing Lean In Girls, we asked them, why are you planning to bring this program? And they said, we need something for the 80%, right? This is not our tippy top 10% that are speaking out, raising their hand to take on all the opportunities. And it's not the bottom 10% that are maybe struggling and have a lot of extra challenges. It's that middle 80% that sometimes get lost, and don't always have the opportunity for some of these more focused interventions. And they decided to run the program as a supplemental opportunity for 8th graders ahead of moving into high school. And they offered it during the school day, during lunch. So they had a special group of girls that they selected that would come together during lunch. And it was an initiative run for them out of their school counseling office. So it doesn't have to be run through school counseling, but that's how they decided to do it. A little bit more about their specific needs. So the challenges they were facing, they noticed that 8th grade girls were very susceptible to negative messages. How many of you are seeing that in your schools? Show of hands. Yes, very good. Okay. They did not see themselves in leadership roles. Are you all seeing that as well? Yeah, okay. They carried unresolved conflicts, especially with peers. Seeing some of that? And then lastly, we can all relate with this, the struggle of inner conflict, right? So their own interests versus what they may perceive are the beliefs or expectations of others, and how to balance and stay true to yourself in those situations. And so they really saw Lean In Girls as an opportunity to do 3 core things. One, develop leadership skills, right? So really empower students to define leadership for themselves and to begin seeing themselves as leaders today, right now, where they are, whatever their circumstance. They also saw a really good social emotional learning and self-esteem building component. So equipping girls to challenge some of those gender and culture norms that they may be experiencing, creating stronger friendships, and then building the self-confidence to really embrace healthy choices for themselves and move towards their goals. And then lastly, there's a career and academic piece here, right? So they felt like by bringing these girls together, there's the ability to cultivate academic and career readiness that would open up new doors and pathways as they head into high school. And the outcomes here have been really incredible. So, and some things we didn't even necessarily expect, including improved academic indicators. So we saw that girls that participated in the program had an increase in both grades and attendance. We saw improved outcomes for girls heading into high school, and some specific anecdotal evidence of girls that prior to going through the program had seemed a little lost. They weren't sure what their path was going to be, and after completing the program, feeling like they really understood what their goals were and what they wanted to go for as they moved into high school. And then lastly, this one we would expect, we saw increased in confidence and a greater sense of belonging, right? So girls starting to speak up more for themselves, engaging more actively in school, and really forming those meaningful relationships with peers and a stronger sense of self. And then I have to read this quote out loud. This is wrong. I updated that. I wish it was here. I had put a participant quote there who basically was saying, after going through the program, she was like, I realized that I can love myself and I don't have to change. And I was like, oh my God, well, that's the most incredible thing you could ever ask for in life. So, but that's also a great quote too from Brenda. And then looking ahead, so Buxer ran the program for 2 years. After that, they presented this data to their district. And the district was very intrigued, as you could imagine. And so what they're doing starting this fall is expanding out into a full district-wide pilot. So they're going to be pulling this across all 5 of their middle schools, starting out reaching 200 to 300 girls in this first year. And really the goal here is to build on those key outcomes that they saw through the Buxer study, building confidence, belonging, self-advocacy. And then they also want to do a couple other things. They want to test this scaled model and see how wide they can pull it within their student body. They want to gather data to inform district-level decision-making about how to support girls effectively in these middle and early teen years. And then they want to share these learnings with other public school systems to influence broader change. So part of why they were like, yes, share our story with this group is they want to inspire others. They're like, we're having success, we see what it's doing for girls, and we want to invite others to join us on this journey. And so in this district-wide pilot, we're going to have the chance to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. And so I'll be really excited to circle back and share that with you all once we have it at the end of next year. Okay, so we're rounding it all out now. I want to talk briefly about bringing Lean In Girls to your district. This is going to be really high level, but just to give you a little more insight. So as I shared at the top and as Marilyn shared, the program is completely free and very easy to use. So if you decide you want to bring Lean In Girls to your school, to your district, what we're going to do is provide you with the curriculum. We're going to get you all of the step-by-step facilitator guides, hands-on activities, and games. We're going to invite whoever's going to lead the program to join us for a virtual facilitator training, just 60 minutes. And then we'll provide hands-on implementation support. So myself, my teammates, we're happy to get on calls, help you think through the implementation plan, and then also get you connected with our global community of educators. So we've got literally educators around the world running the program, and we've created an online community for those educators to share learnings and best practices together. That community is moderated by a girls leadership expert, and she's in there as a resource to you all totally for free, which is very cool. So that's kind of the what we're gonna do, and then how you're gonna do it. So you saw the Buxer example. They did it through their counseling office, ran it during the school day. There are innumerable ways to run the program because, as I said, it's adaptable and flexible. So we've got folks doing it as SEL programming through counseling offices. We see people using it in advisory or enrichment time, maybe even homeroom. We have lunch bunches, and then we've also got after-school programs. So really it's up to you all to decide what's the best place to meet your girls with this content and opportunity. I'm going to ask you if you are interested specifically today in me following up either with you, with someone on your team to talk in more detail about what it will look like to bring Lean In Girls to your community. I want you to scan this QR code. It's very fast. It's just going to be name, email, district. Maybe there's one other thing. Could be title. Very quick and easy. This is going to tell me that you want me to reach out one-on-one and help you get started with the program, or just give you more information. There's absolutely no pressure, but I'll make sure you have what you need to get going. So please do scan this QR code. And then Marilyn, hopefully we can share the deck and my contact information out after as well to the group. Great. Okay, I'm gonna pause for questions. So please, any questions you have, I welcome them at this time. Yes.
Is fifth grade too young, or do you also work with fifth graders?
Yeah, fifth grade is, I think 5th through 9th grade is what I consider the core age ranges, but I do have people running it as young as 4th grade, and I've heard feedback from educators that are like, we really need to start this in 3rd grade because it's that early. And we tell them, check out like the kickoff parts 1 and 2. Some of those could be adapted to run, I think, as early as 3rd grade. Any other questions? Yes, oh my gosh, I would love to put the QR code back up. Let's just sit here. I want as many of you to scan this as possible because I'm so excited to follow up and potentially get some of you guys using the program.
We will be including all of the sessions, the PDFs, on our website.
Great.
So I'm assuming they can use the QR code.
Yes, yeah.
that time.
It'll be there. So if you come back and need it. And when I follow up, feel free, if there's just somebody else you're like, I love this, but this is the person, you can always reroute me too if you want me to go through to someone else on your team. Any other questions? How many of you think this could add value to your girls in your community? Awesome. Great. I love that. Okay. Well, thank you all for having me. I've really enjoyed this. It's such a pleasure to get to share about the program. And thank you for the work you do to support our girls.